There's such a spaciousness within the silence of the desert. For hundreds of miles, the only person you'll meet is yourself. Exposed to the heat, the cold, the dry, the wind. The desert provides an open space for me to unwind. When the noise of the city gets loud and I feel caught up in my surroundings, in my life, in what I'm doing, being able to get into the car and drive for hours and hours and just end up in the middle of nowhere with nothing but the sound of silence to guide me back to myself is the best feeling in the world. And there's something so special about the desert in particular, because in the desert there is so much silence. Silence is the default, and it's a type of deep silence that I don't even know how to describe. I've never really experienced it anywhere else besides the desert. And it's the silence that is so quiet. When I'm walking, the only thing I can hear is my footsteps. When I'm eating, the only thing I can hear is eating. When I'm breathing, which is all the time, the only thing that I can hear is my breath entering my body. I can hear my heart beating. And it's such a grounding feeling to really pay attention to the way that my existence sounds. Like, when I'm in the desert, there's this spaciousness that is so captivating and grounding. Like I said, it's like you have nowhere to go but there. You have nothing to do but be there. You have nothing to be but yourself. And it's the most freeing thing in the world, because for once, like, I get to take a break and fully just be, and be surrounded by this deep silence, be surrounded by these gigantic mountains, be surrounded by literally complete stillness and silence for hundreds of miles. And it's such a powerful thing. It's like entering into a place, a physical place that is like meditation. The desert is this silent, quiet place. And it's so fitting for it to be next to such a loud city, because it really gives us the opportunity to like remember what life is. Every time I go to the desert, I come to the same conclusion of like how rich life feels when it's being fully felt and fully lived. And whenever I leave the desert, much like whenever I leave any like camping trip or any experience out in nature, but especially when I leave the desert, remembering that place of spaciousness that I feel when I'm surrounded by this expansive space reminds me to bring that spaciousness into everything that I do. That feeling that I feel on vacation when I'm surrounded by mountains and in the desert, that feeling of spaciousness that I feel is not something that I want to be exclusive to spending time away from home, away from the city, away from life. I go out there to remember that it's always within me, and I have the ability in every moment to bring that spaciousness into everything that I do. And going to the desert is such a good reminder of that, and it's a good reminder to get on track of just bringing that into my life, whatever that means, whether it's setting practices of staying mindful and having time to myself, or experiencing nature in the unique ways that you can in a city, or just taking my time with things when I do them, taking my time when I eat and cook, and really just like sinking into every moment. And I love the desert, and it holds such a special place in my heart because it really brings that effortlessly out of me. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's so incredible. And yeah, I try and get out there as often as I can so that I can remember that feeling that I feel, that freeness that I feel, is something that is attainable in any circumstance. And I'm so much a student of this, and it's something that I try and do in my own life, and I get better as I get older and more practiced with it. But knowing that that's fully attainable is what keeps me going. It's what keeps me pulling myself into every moment, pulling myself into this state of peace and being within me, because I know that it's not just exclusive to the desert. When I go to the desert, I'm just so reminded of that. And I wanted to share that with you because I had never gone to a desert until I moved to Southern California. And now it's like the place that we go whenever we just want to like get away. The desert is always the place because it's so close, and you can spend 2 days in the desert and it feels like an entire week. Like, it is so magical. And yeah, I'd never experienced the depth of silence that exists in the desert. And so I wanted to share that with you and just encourage you to find that silence in your own life in any way that you can, whatever that means. Wherever you live, whatever your surroundings are, know that the silence of the desert, the stillness of the desert, the presence of the desert is available to you at all times. So that spaciousness lives within you. It's fully accessible to you. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you're doing well and taking care of yourself. And I hope that in every moment of every day, you are just learning to connect to the spaciousness within you, finding your peace and your grounding and your balance within the spaciousness that lives within you in every moment. Learning to root yourself within that instead of rooting yourself in your emotions, your circumstances, or anything else. Rooting your sense of well-being in the fact that within you there is this deep spaciousness that is always there and never changing. And that unchanging, unconditional part of you is always there, and you always can connect to it. And yeah, I just hope that you're doing well. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day today.